Nandana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Mishnu Pada Padamang Saparigra Tikacharya Ashtota Sisima Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna everyone, good morning. Very nice to be here again and to see the new faces. New faces. Come from different parts of the world. Who was here last time we came? Okay. That means you weren't. Where have you come from? Oh, Manchester. And you from, sir? Oh, Edinburgh. Fantastic. A devotee from Edinburgh. Ki Jai. Praise the Lord, as they would say in the church. And you, sir, you're from? Well, the York. You're not from York. I used to. Okay, very nice. Very good. Good to see you. And where are you from? Oh, Rajasthan. Very good. I love Rajasthan. Okay, so should we have Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam class? Small matter of the book. Yeah. Seventh canto, no? Seventh canto? Anybody know which canto? Text 2, okay. You can see me. It's behind me, I know. It's up there. I'm not a... Drishta Shruta. Drishta Shruta. Before 8 o'clock in the morning. Adrishta Shruta. Purvatvat. Adrishta Shruta Purvatvat. Adrishta Shruta Purvatvat. Adrishta Shruta Purvatvat. Sa Nopayaya Shankita. Sa Nopayaya Shankita. Sa Nopayaya Shankita. Shakshat Shri Preshita Deva Drishtratam Mahad Advutam Drishta Shuta Purvatvat Sanopayaya Sangita. Excuse me. Sanopayaya Shankita. Shakshat Shri Preshita Deva Drishtratam Mahad Advutam Adrishta Shuta Purvatvat Sanopayaya Shankita. Shakshat Shri Preshita Deva Drishtratam Mahadodbhutam Adrishta Shuta Purvatvat Sanopayaya Shankita. Wonderful. Adrishta never seen. Ashruta, never heard of it, but due to being previously. Sa, the goddess of fortune. Lakshmi, na, excuse me, I said that wrong, didn't I? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, yeah. Yeah. Na, not. Upayaya, went before the Lord. Shankita, being very much afraid. Translation. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. Kindly repeat. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord. And thus she could not approach him. Purple. The Lord has unlimited forms and bodily features. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. These are all situated in Vaikuntha. Yet Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, being inspired by Lila Shakti, could not appreciate this unprecedented form of the Lord. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya recites the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. Let's bring this a bit closer. Adrishta Shuta Purvatvat Anyai Sadharanai Rajanai Nrasingham Shankiteva Shrir Lokamaha Yano Yuyau Prahrade Chaiva Vatsalya Darshanaya Harerapi Gyatva Manastata Brahma Prahradam Preshayat Ekatraikasya Vatsalyam Vishesha Darshayadharihi Ava Rasyapi Mohaya Kramena Ivapi Vatsala. In other words, for the common men, the form of the Lord as Nrsingadev is certainly unseen and wonderful, but for a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearsome form of the Lord is not at all extraordinary. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can very easily understand how the Lord can appear in any form he likes. Therefore, the devotee is never afraid of such a form. Because of special favor bestowed upon Prahlad Maharaj, he remained silent and unafraid, even though all the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, were afraid of Lord Nrsingadev. Narayana parak sarve na nukaschana bibyati. Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 17th chapter, 28th verse. Not only is a pure devotee of Narayana, like Prahlad Maharaj, unafraid of any dangerous condition of material life, but also, if the Lord appears to mitigate the fear of a devotee, the devotee maintains his status of fearlessness in all circumstances. Oma Gyana Timarandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Jakshura Meritam Jena Tasmai Shingravina. So, Hare Krishna. Very nice to be here. There is a popular story. We don't know which Shastra it appears in, but I will tell it nonetheless. It's told in southern India, and it is said that after Prahlad Maharaj was, just after this incident takes place when he greets Lord Nrsingadev, they go to him and they say, how is it that you survived all these dangerous, dangerous conditions that your father placed you in? You know, you were thrown off a cliff. He said, yes, I was thrown off a cliff, but I was going faster and faster down the side of the cliff. But at the bottom of the cliff, I saw Bhumi Devi, the earth, coming to greet me. Bhumi Devi is an expansion of Lakshmi Devi, so I saw my mother. I said, oh, it's a very interesting realization. But they gave you poison. They tried to poison you. He said, yes, it was poison, but poison is my auntie. He says, auntie, how's poison your auntie? He said, well, because when the ocean of milk was being churned, Lakshmi Devi was the first to come. Poison was the next to come. And therefore, poison is my mother's sister, my auntie. I said, oh, but what about, they asked him different things. But what about the snakes? You were thrown into a pit of snakes. He says, yes, the pit of snakes was my father's bed. Why can I be fearful if my father's, as Lord Narayan sleeps on a couch made of an Anandashesha? He says, so if I see a snake, I just see it, oh, this is my dad's bed. So what is the problem there for me? He said, oh, you see it with transcendental vision. But what about the fire? They tried to throw you in a fire. Yes, he said, fire is just, the flames of a fire is just, it's just, when you have a fire sacrifice, this is the tongue of Vishnu. So why should I be afraid of my father's tongue? So this way he was answering all the question. He said, I'd never felt afraid because I just saw it as an aspect of my Lord coming to see me. So this is a devotee. We have a choice which vision we have. We can see Krishna everywhere, or you can see yourself everywhere. There's only two choices you have. If you see yourself everywhere, you'll see this is for me. This is for me. This is for me. This is against me. These people like me. These people don't like me. This person said something nice. This person said something horrible. This weather is bad for me. This weather is good for me. I like to eat this. I don't like to eat that. Everything will be judged according to whether it's good for your tongue, your belly, your genitals, your eyes, your ears, or your stomach. That's pretty much what we are. In fact, we're a giant slug, just moving slowly through the world. We're just a tube, from this end to the other end, just a tube with unlimited desires. And so the point is, in order to survive in this tube filled with blood, pus, mucus, bile, phlegm, bones, muscles, and some firing neurons, all the brain. In order to survive, the mind has to make different functions, sankalpa and vikalpa. Sankalpa is when the mind says, yes, this is good for me. See, Leela Manjari says, this is good for me. So she's opening the bottle. She's going to take it. She's drinking water now. Okay, she's drinking water. Because her brain has told her, drink water. Is that good for her? Yes, it'll be good for her. Okay, better than other things that she could drink. Okay, so her brain says, this I can drink, that I cannot drink. So this is called sankalpa. Vikalpa means, I don't want this. This is not good for me. So generally speaking, the materially conditioned soul, he wants things that are good for survival. First is oxygen, okay? You don't normally think about that, do you? How many times have you taken a breath during this class so far? You don't count it because it just goes on automatically. Such an automatic assumption of the brain that oxygen is needed, that we are wired into taking our breath automatically. We don't think during the day, do we? We don't think, I should breathe. She was thinking, I should take a drink of water. That's an independent thought. But there's no independent thought that I should breathe, is it? You never think about it. So something's going on. Or I should digest my breakfast that I'm going to have. I'm going to eat some Scots porridge. Now I should digest. Someone comes to you and says something, excuse me, Prabhu, just give me a moment. I'm just sending a message from my brain to my stomach that I should digest this porridge. You don't have to think about it. So some things are automatic. Some things are less automatic. There has to be a response. So there's a stimulus and a response. The stimulus is that the senses are stimulated. For instance, do I want porridge in the first place? Do I want salty porridge or do I want sweet porridge? I have a choice in life. So we give you a choice here at Kripamoya. You can have salty porridge or sweet porridge. All possibilities are open for you. Like Henry Ford. People can have any color they want, any color car they want, as long as it's black. You can have any breakfast cereal you want, as long as it's porridge. So, do I want this one or this one? So the brain, the mind, and the brain under the functioning aspect of the mind. Every few seconds is doing sankalpa or vikalpa, based on the intellectual capacity. And that intellectual capacity is governed by the three modes of material nature. So the forces of material nature are causing you to be who you assume to be yourself. And with what you assume to be yourself, you're making those choices, thinking, I'm free, I'm a free individual. I've made my choice. I chose sweet porridge. See, I'm free here at the ashram. I can have anything I like as long as I can make my choices. So, most people think, if I went to live in an ashram, I wouldn't like to have so many of my freedoms curtailed. They take away your freedom. They tell you what haircut you're going to have for the men and for the ladies. They tell you what you're going to wear on your body. They tell you what you're going to put on your forehead. Yeah, even what color tilak you're going to wear. Everything is metered. Everything is controlled. I would never join an ashram like that. I would never let anybody tell me what to do. Now, where's my daily newspaper? And you pick up the daily newspaper, and people think that they have the freedom to believe, but what they're doing is assuming someone else's perspective. I've got freedom. I'm so glad I've got freedom. Let me turn on the radio, listen to my favorite music. Chum, 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 chum. Let me go to the factory. I go to the factory to work. And in the factory, chum, 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 machines. Srila Prabhupada said one time in the 1970s, he said, in the future, the music will sound like a speedboat. Dum, 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 dum. So the music will sound like that. So people think that they're free, but they're governed from every moment. From the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. They're under control. They go under control of the media system, under control of any other religious systems, under control of certainly under the control of the government, who has many different ways of making you conform to the perspective that they wish you to have. We won't get into that because it's not that type of class, but you know what I mean. So as a devotee, we want to break free. Okay? We want to break free. Now, break free means to rise above the mind's conditioning and to see the world as it is. That's why Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita was called As It Is. So as it is means you see the world as God sees it. First of all, you have to bring yourself kicking and screaming to the point where you understand that there is God. Even if you do not accept God as Krishna, Prabhupada said, you have to accept God as death. Even if you do not pay obeisances on your front, with your front of your head on the floor, he said, still, to God as death, you have to pay obeisances on your back. He said, each of us will be paying obeisances on our back at the time of death. So you might as well pay obeisances on your front. So, therefore, we try to find someone who will tell us what is the perspective of God. And we look for a person who can help us to do that. That is the figure of the guru. And the guru, traditionally the function of the guru is to tell you shastras. Now we have shastras printed for us so we can read them and make our own assessment. and then we find the Guru. So Lord Krishna, when he was speaking to Uddhava, he said that there are 3 stages of finding a Guru in your life. I'm just mentioning Guru as a principle. He said, first of all, your own mind says to you, everything is not as it should be here. Something is wrong. I feel it. I feel that I should be doing something more with my life. There must be something more with my life. And then he said, this is the first stage. He said, the first stage, your own mind is your Guru. In the second stage, the entire universe is your Guru. And Uddhava was very interested. And then Krishna tells that story about the young man who had achieved spiritual enlightenment. And the king asked him, where did you get that from? Who is your Guru? And in India, if you know, everybody has a Guru. It's just a function. You know, people ask you, who's your Guru in India? And everybody's Guru. In ISKCON, sometimes we don't do that. We don't. Who's your Guru? Well, first of all, back in 1982, it was, so sometimes in ISKCON we don't ask that question. But in India, everyone says, what is your country? Where are you from? Who's your Guru? And there's usually, in some parts of India, there's a swear word. Just like we have a swear word, bastard, means a child. There, I said it on the microphone. But it means a child who has no father. So the equivalent in the Indian language is Beguru. If you want to really insult someone, you say, you Beguru. Beguru means you person without a guru. It's an insult to someone. Beguru means you don't have anybody guiding you in life. I mean, you're a stupid, chaotic fellow. Okay, you have no one helping you, no one guiding you. Beguru. So this person said, who's your Guru? He said, well, I have 24 Gurus. Then he goes through the list and he explains how different things that he saw within the world taught him different things, and he came away. So the idea of this function is that Paramatma is within, Paramatma is Antaryami, the ever-present witness within the heart, God within the heart. God sends a message to your mind, and your mind can have God-shaped lessons wherever you go. So you see the message of God, you hear the message of God wherever you go. So many of us have that experience, don't we? Before we became devotees, before we made a commitment, we read a magazine article and that pushes us along. We have a conversation with someone about something else that pushes us along. And in this way, when you finally sit and you've made your commitment as a devotee, yes, this is something that I want to do with my life, you can say, how did you become a devotee? And then you go, well, one day and then there's a long chain of events. And those chain of events describe how you gradually began to see the world in a different way. And so this is the God consciousness. So the God consciousness of Prahlad Maharaj is that everything he sees, everything reminds him of the Lord. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, even before the Lord was visible, Prahlad Maharaj could see him. Even before Lord Nrsingadev burst out of the pillar, Prahlad could see him. One class, Prabhupada says, he says, Prahlad looked at the Lord inside the pillar, and the Lord winked. Don't worry, I'm coming. Hiranyakashipu, on the other hand, God came before him. Where is this God? Favorite part of the story, isn't it? Where is this God of yours? If he's here, I want to see him. Is he in this pillar? So Prahlad Maharaj could see. He says, yes, Father. He came out of the pillar. Hiranyakashipu saw him, but still he couldn't see God. God can appear. If you're not God conscious, God will stand in front of you and you'll say, who's this? Half man, half lion. Never seen this before. I don't know what it is, but it's not God. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj, he could not see Lord Nrsingadev visibly with his fleshy eyes, but he could see him with his spiritual eyes inside the pillar. So for one who is Krishna conscious, Krishna is everywhere. And for one who's not Krishna conscious, Krishna is nowhere. You see? You understand? One time they came to Prabhupada and they said, Prabhupada, you seem very convinced when you speak with the scientists about the existence of God. He said, yes. He said, well, how can we become that convinced? How can we become convinced about the existence of Krishna? He said, it is very simple. He said, he is coming to me and he is saying, there is no such thing as Krishna. But behind him, I see Krishna standing. You see? You understand? I see Krishna. So then, one time Prabhupada was being interviewed by a reporter. And the reporter said, Swamiji, do you see God? Prabhupada said, yes. And then Rameshwar, who was sitting at his feet, it was an airport lounge. He said, no, what Srila Prabhupada means is that he feels the presence of God within his heart. Prabhupada looked at Rameshwar and said, no, I see God. He said, it is just like someone who is blind. And the blind man comes to me and he says, there is no such thing as the sun. He said, but above him shining, I see the sun. Should I believe him? This foolish man speaking. You have not seen the sun, but I have seen the sun. You deny the existence of the sun. I see the existence of the sun. I feel the existence of the sun. Therefore, Prabhupada told us to remove from our life the influence of people who do not believe in God. And that's what an ashram is. It's where we take ashraya. Ashraya means shelter. We get the shelter by being in the close company of people who do see God, or at least those who know someone who sees God, or at least Shastra, even if there's no one that's in the ashram who's seen God, even a little bit. And I find that difficult to appreciate. Sometimes, what happens is that we do have a realization of Krishna, but we simply think that was sentimental, or that it was a function of the mind. No, it was just something. One devotee came to me one time. He'd been a devotee for about 12 years, and he was experiencing a downturn in his spiritual life. It happens. People go through a dry period. They forget why they became devotees, and they find it all boring. So he came to me and he said, this is my situation. I said, but you were our most enthusiastic kirtan leader, singer, most enthusiastic class giver, most enthusiastic book distributor. What's changed? He said, I don't know. He said, maybe back then it was some sort of mental thing I was going through. Maybe it was some sort of psychological experience I was having. Maybe none of it was real. I said, sit down, let's talk about this. So I had to listen to him. So the thing is, sometimes the mind can function in such a way as to cause you to look at your previous Krishna conscious experiences and relegate them to something in history. Well, I became a devotee when I was young. I became a devotee when I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing. Right, Bridget? Did you really know what you were doing when you became a devotee? Not really. I walked in the temple when I was 17, and they said, so you're staying? I said, no, I think I'm going home. And the person looked at me and he said, you are so unfortunate. Okay. I was only 17 at the time. I said, okay, I'll stay another week. So I stayed another week, and here I am. So they said, oh, it's time for you to be initiated. I said, what's that? I said, well, it's something we do. I said, okay. Srila Prabhupada is coming. When is he coming? He's coming next week. Oh, okay. Very good. Srila Prabhupada came, and I was measuring Srila Prabhupada up to what I thought a guru should be. I knew what I was 17, I knew what a guru should be. I knew everything. So I wanted to see if Prabhupada measured up to my true understanding of what everything a guru should be. He didn't do very well at first. I thought he could have answered a question in a slightly better way. But somehow we persist without Krishna consciousness. But my dear devotees, please don't have a genuine spiritual experience and then try to relegate it to something artificial or something mental or something psychological. Krishna is revealing himself to us in different ways that will produce emotions, that will produce joy. Hang on to that. You may not get it that often, but don't relegate it to, just a mental function. Otherwise, you'll always be thinking, real Krishna consciousness is just slightly ahead. It's something I'm going to experience next week, next month, next year, or when I do this, when I do that. No. Krishna is available now, and he's available today, and he's available for you. Krishna is as close to you as your own breath. And if you experience him, we must learn to experience him with gratitude. So, my dear Lord, thank you for coming to me today. Thank you for revealing this to me today. And then write that down, so that in the future, when you don't believe you have ever had any spiritual life whatsoever, and that day will come, I'm warning you. You can look back at that journal and you can say, either that was someone completely different, or that was me. Either I was just mad at that time, and too young or too stupid or too easily impressed or too gullible, or it was actually something genuine, and it was of God. So be warned. So Prahlad Maharaj is always held up to us as a Mahajan, and very special Mahajan, because of course he is a Mahajan who saw God because God personally came for him. That's the amazing thing. Wouldn't we like that? It's such a struggle sometimes, isn't it? So we would like God to come to us, say, okay, let's put this to rest. I do exist. I'm here for you right now in your life. Okay? And you would go, what would you do? So hey, Gandaki Haribol. So we always have a choice in our life. And Prabhupada said, I was there in March of 1977. Prabhupada was giving a class in Mayapur, and he'd just been translating the 7th canto. And so we didn't know much about Lord Nrsingadev. We didn't know much about Lord Nrsingadev. We just knew half man, half lion, pillar, killed, Prahlad. That's it. Namaste, Namaste. No details. So Prabhupada was translating the 7th canto. And that morning, I very clearly remember pushing my way to the front, barging past the Americans who always hog the front, sitting at the front in front of Prabhupada. He held up his hand like this. With his right finger, he was doing like this. He said, so Lord Nrsingadev's hand, he said, the middle is as soft as a lotus, but the nails, he was going like this, the nails are as hard as chisels. They're sharp. The nails are for the non-devotees. And the palm, lotus palm, is for the devotees. Because Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam. Paritranaya sadhunam. I raise them up. And for the chisels, and for the non-devotees, come the chisels. There's an old story, that, again, they tell in the south of India. I don't know, it's from no scripture at all. But they say, when Lord Nrsingadev came out, his right hand went to Hiranyakashipu's chest, just to feel if there was anything good, anything worth saving. When he experienced that there was nothing worth saving, then he ripped his chest open. Of course, we know the story. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Hiranyakashipu was actually either Jai or Vijay from Vaikuntha. But don't spoil the story. Don't spoil the story. This is Leela. Leela means the Lord gets to tell the story, not your story. You may know that Hiranyakashipu is Jai and Vijay. You may know that. That's okay. Don't spoil the story. You may know that it wasn't Sita that was captured by Ravan, but false Sita, Maya Sita. Don't spoil the story. Lord Ram is telling the story. Don't spoil anybody else's story. You know, don't be over-intelligent. Devotees, sometimes they like to do that. They tell the story of the Ramayana, and they get to the point where Sita was stolen, and say, of course, Sita wasn't really stolen. You just spoiled the story for someone. That's Ram's story. Let him tell it. If you're weeping and wailing and you can't eat because Sita's been stolen, if you're in that level of ecstasy, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally comes to you and says, don't worry, it was Maya Sita. Oh, okay. You see? But otherwise, don't spoil the story. King Kulashekar, he would get so into the story, and sometimes, because he was going to drown on his way to Lanka to conquer Ravan and recover Sita, they had to go. His own ministers had to come to him and say, it's all right, my lord. We're on the way back. We've just had a big battle. Ravan has been defeated. Sita has been united with Ram, and they're on the way to Ayodhya. I just came to give you this message, my lord. And the king would go, oh, what a relief. All right, everybody home. And he reversed his entire army. When you're on that level of ecstatic immersion, then perhaps if something bad is going to happen. Srila Prabhupada was the only person we knew who was on that level of absorption. One time in Vrindavan, Prabhupada was in front of, he was in watching the play. The devotees were putting on the Nrsingadev play. And of course, Prabhupada knew the story. How could he not know the story? He's translated the entire Bhagavatam. He knows all the details of the story. He's the one who told us the story. But in front of Prabhupada was the pillar. You know what's going to happen. Around the pillar was a bamboo screen. And of course, everybody was waiting for the moment. Because we knew that somewhere in the middle of the story, Lord Nrsingadev's going to come bursting out of the pillar. Okay. So, and Prabhupada obviously knew. Prabhupada got absorbed in the pastime, got absorbed in the Leela, so much that his emotions began to manifest in that Leela. And then, when Lord Nrsingadev obviously burst out of the pillar, it was obviously a devotee dressed up, you know, not very well. The Prabhupada was shocked. He was shocked. Well, Prabhupada, how did you not know that that was going to happen? You know the story. But when you enter into the Leela, it comes as a surprise. So when Lakshmi sees Lord Nrsingadev, what a surprise. Is it not Lakshmi's position to understand immediately, this is my Lord, dressed up? But how could she be part of the Leela if immediately she said, my Lord, what are you doing? Come on, I know who you are. You can't fool me. I'm your nearest and dearest. You are Sridhara. You are one who carries me on your chest. I'm the closest to you, your closest associate. I know who you are. You can't fool me. There'll be no story. So this is Lakshmi playing her part in the Leela. So the Prabhupada says that she is influenced by Leela Shakti. Leela Shakti. So Leela Shakti means the Lord wants to tell us a story. Therefore he manifests in a particular way. At this point he was so ferociously angry. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham, Narasimham Vishanam Bhadram, Ritimati. So he was the death of death. He was, face was the flames. He was savage. Nothing could be more fearful, fear-inducing than Lord Nrsingadev. The cult of Lord Nrsingadev, there is a cult of Lord Nrsingadev all over South India. For many thousands of years, the kings in South India, they would also be called Narahari, Narasimha, Narasimha Varma, Narasimha Varman, Narasimha the first, Narasimha the second, Narasimha the third, and the temple deities would be Lord Nrsimhadev, just as we have Gaura or Radha Krishna. Earlier on, Lord Nrsimhadev was worshipped by thousands and millions of people. Our own Vishnu Swami was a disciple, was a worshipper of Lord Nrsimhadev. And Sridhar Swami commented on the Srimad Bhagavatam, which was so much appreciated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a worshipper of Lord Nrsimhadev. Who else? Nanda Maharaj, when he felt that the demons were coming for Krishna too often, he worshipped Lord Nrsimhadev. Advaita Acharya, he worshipped in Nrsimha Shalagram, which you can still see today in Shantipur. Srivas Thakur worshipped Lord Nrsimhadev. Many people worship Lord Nrsimhadev. Why? Because of this, this capability that the Lord has. Yes, I'm a devotee. Yes, I'm your devotee. But your nails, I can put them to good use. Please rip out the sinful desires in my heart. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, worship Lord Nrsimhadev until love for Radha Krishna arises in your heart. And Prabhupada gave us that. Prabhupada's guru gave Ugram Vira Mahavishnu to his sannyasi disciples when they came to London. And Prabhupada gave us Namaste Narasimha, this verse from the Nrsimha Purana. And not content with that, he gave us another song. That other song. You know that other song? Tavakara Kamala Varena Kamantiti. Devotees think it's one song. It's two songs. But Prabhupada gave it to us at the same time. So we sing that every single day after every arti. And there are other groups of Gaudiya Vaishnavas who look at us and they think it's very strange. They're worshipping Radha Krishna, but then they're praying to Nrsimhadev. Very strange behavior. Well, it comes in a good lineage. It comes in a very good lineage. Because we say, my Lord, please remove my burden. Please remove the difficulties I have. Please remove my problems. Therefore, as Ganesh removes the problems in the form of Vigna Vinasham, we say, we pray to Ganesh. Vigna Vinasham. Please, Vigna Vinashaya, offer unto you the removal of obstacles. So Lord Nrsimhadev is Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya. Obstacles on the path of Bhakti can be removed. So we have a choice. This one or this one. This one can be for your blessing, this one can be for the bits of you that you don't want. Bits of you that you don't want. I had a bit of me that I didn't want. It was called cancer. It was deep in here. And just before my operation, I was chanting japa, as I do, just before I was taken up to the operating theatre. And on the bead bag was Lord Nrsimhadev with Hiranyakashipu across his lap. He was doing this. There was a special bead bag. I've still got it. It was sort of, his stomach was half open and bleeding. And I was looking at that and thinking, yes, take out the cancer, my Lord, take out the cancer. I trust in you. Please let the knife of the surgeon be your sharp chisels. So here I am. So when Lord Nrsimhadev came out, it said he did something which no one else can do. No one else can do. If you're angry, both of your eyes will be angry. If you're sad, both of your eyes will be sad. If you're happy, both of your eyes will be happy. Therefore, the face is the index of the mind. But Lord Nrsimhadev, when he came out, one eye was happy, one eye was sad. One eye was angry. So his angry eye was looking at Hiranyakashipu. And his happy eye was looking at Pilar. They say. So, Lakshmi, she plays her part in this, and demigods say um, to go forward. But everyone is afraid, at least her. Now, Madhvacharya, he writes this in Madhvacharya. The conception within the Madhva line is that Lakshmi ji is a special type of jiva. Because for Madhva, there's only God and matter and the jiva. So, in order for him to prove his point to the Shankarites, there's only God, matter, and jiva. Since Lakshmi is not matter, she must be jiva. Therefore, all are related to God as jiva, but special jivas. And of course, our philosophy, given to us by another Nrsingadev worshipper called Vishnu Swami, we find in Sarvagya Sutta, we find this understanding of Vladini Shakti. The Lord has attributes, or the Lord has Shaktis, which are Him, but not quite Him, but definitely Him, but independent from Him, but dependent on Him, but having a separate existence. So how is that? Like the sun and the sunshine, or the flower and the smell of a flower, musk and the fragrance of musk. Musk, the substance, is over here, the fragrance of musk is something else, and yet they're intrinsically together. You can't separate them. Wherever there is musk, there will be the fragrance. Wherever is the fragrance of musk, there must be some musk. But intrinsically, you can separate them. You can say one is the substance, and one is the Visheshana, one is the attribute. Okay? One is the possessor of the attribute, one is the attribute. So in this case, Lakshmi ji is the attribute of the Lord. And he's known as Sridhara. I was in a temple in South India, and they brought a baby cow in for darshan, just like we have darshan at 7 o'clock in the morning. They have darshan at 7 o'clock in the morning. They put a baby cow in, and I thought, oh, that's cute. They're bringing the cow to see Krishna. In this case, Lord Nrsingadev. They're bringing the cow to see Lord Nrsingadev. I said, this is nice. The man said, no. This is so Nrsingadev can see the cow. This is drishtva. This is his auspicious vision, so that he gets to see something nice when the curtains open. So they bring tulsi, they bring gold, they bring a cow. Then they did something very strange. They turned the cow around, so the back end of the cow was facing the deities. I thought, I'm not quite sure about this. And then the cow did something strange. I thought, oh my God, the cow's passed stool in a temple. And of course, being Western, I thought, let's get the broom, I'll help them sweep it up. But they said, no, this is a manifestation of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is in the back end of the cow. So when Lord Nrsingadev sees Lakshmi in the beginning of the day, he feels very happy. So my vision, my perspective was clear. All right. That is one of the questions. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, Sridhar. Well, he was a follower in the line of Vishnu Swami. He was also a disciple of Lord Nrsingadev. And his commentary is commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam Tipika. Is it? Bhagavatam Tipika. accepted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the authoritative commentary. It seems his time was before the 1300s. Either 1300s or before 1300s. And I have something about him in a book I was just reading on the train yesterday. We don't have too many details about him. And of course there's many people have the same name. Sridhara is a very popular name. Sridhara. And many of those Sridharas became sannyasis. Just like there's 3 different Vishnu Swamis. So sometimes people are not sure which Vishnu Swami was which. The Vishnu Swami, we think, the earliest for Vishnu Swami was at least 300 years before Sridhar Swami. So they were in that line. So the oldest Vaishnavacharya is Vishnu Swami, and Sridhar Swami was in that line. And other things were written in that book, but I only just read it yesterday. So.
In his writings, I'm guessing there is no mention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or about Mahaprabhu was in 13th century.
No, that's my understanding. You mean a predictive writing? Oh, that would be neat, wouldn't it? It would be neat for us. Well, he may have, you have to see his commentaries to Krishna Varnam to Shah Krishnam, to that verse. He may have said something, but I don't know. Yeah. I guess for us, we're always looking back to see what they said about what was coming. Just like Vyasatirtha. Vyasatirtha is in the line of Madhvacharya, and he started a Sankirtan movement, people singing the names of Vishnu. But he doesn't mention Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if we doubt that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the manifestation of Krishna for Kali Yuga, then we have to also explain how it is that Sankirtan, through the agency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is now spread all over the world in such a short time. For something like that to happen, it can only be that is the incarnation, that is the golden incarnation that was spoken of in Krishna Varnam to Shah Krishnam. And also, Suvarna Varna Hemango Varangaschangana Gadi Sannyasa Krishamo Shanto Nishta Shanti Parayana. In the Mahabharata, we have that as well. One of the first things the devotee told me, I had 1974, I was at a pop festival, and I'd been to there was at that time an incarnation of Krishna in the world. Did you know that? In the 1970s? His name was Guru Maharaji. Guru Maharaji. When he came on stage, he was only 16, and he had a mukut, came on stage with a mukut and a peacock feather. And he gave enlightenment by pressing his thumb to your forehead. Everybody took him seriously. You see, because this was, not many people knew about Krishna consciousness at that point. It was still 1970s. So he came with that message that, Krishna is real, but I am Krishna. And then to the devotees he said, I am Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I have 4 brothers. He came from a family of 5. He said, my 4 brothers are the members of the Panchatattva. So he knew something. So the devotees. So I went to their tent, and I had a color magazine, and I came, and the devotees said, oh, which tent have you been to? I said, the Guru Maharaji tent. He said, oh, can I see their magazine, please? So he looked at the magazine, he said, I hope you don't mind. He just dropped it in the fire, and it was burning, and as it was burning, I thought, well, that was pretty rude. I just got a free magazine, and here's this Hare Krishna monk burning it on the bonfire. But by that action, I was convinced the devotees were really, really, they were really, really serious about what they believed in. And for them, ideas and beliefs were no cheap thing. It was a real serious thing. And so I was very impressed with the devotees' seriousness. And then they said to me, you know, he's a fake, don't you? I said, no. How do you know he's a fake? And then they went on and described Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the reason why. And, you know, they were giving lots of Sanskrit verses, which I couldn't understand. For me, meeting the devotees for the first time, it was just like they were saying. So anyway, the reason is, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, and Prabhupada said, blah, 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 blah. So I was sort of understanding the English that they were speaking, but then there was this other language they were speaking. It didn't mean anything to me. And who's Prabhupada? Yeah. Why do you keep telling me what he said? Don't you have any other opinions of yourself? I wasn't impressed. They kept quoting Prabhupada. So then when they said Prabhupada is coming, I thought, okay, they've all been just repeating what he says. Let me see if he says something that touches me. So that was my measurement. But I'll show you this book. There's something mentioned about Sridhar Swami. Hare Krishna. Young Rajasthani man, आप कैसे हैं? ठीक है? सब ठीक है?
Just small question, Prabhu. Sometimes from some devotees we hear that Lord Nrsimhadev, by praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, he can bestow Krishna Prema to us. But on the other hand, some devotees also say that only Gauranga Mahaprabhu can bestow Krishna Prema to us. You can help clarify this point.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point. Well, you can say like, what we do know is that Lord Nrsimhadev removes the obstacles in the path of devotion. And by accessing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we enter into the possibilities of developing prema for Radha and Krishna, because that's what he's giving. So you can't access the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without having those obstacles removed. Because even though the mercy is descending, a little bit like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati explained, he said it's like the man's fallen down the well and his friend comes because he hears his friend crying down the well. The man is saying, help, 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 I'm drowning in this well, get me out, get me out, get me out. So the man takes the rope and he throws the rope down the well, and the rope is in front of the man. He says, just hold on to the rope. And the man looks up and he says, help. So he says, hold on to the rope, help. So that obstacle by which he doesn't hold on to the rope, this has to be removed in order for you to get the mercy. So there's a lot in the way. So what we do know is that Prabhupada told us that the Lord Nrsimhadev removes the doubts and removes the obstacles in a devotee's heart so they can then access the mercy which is freely given. Does that make sense? That's one answer. There's probably more. Anything else? Ladies, anything? I can hear you.
Yeah, you were saying that we have to start seeing Krishna everywhere. So how can we start shifting our consciousness? So we're not only like that.
Yeah, when I came to Bhaktivedanta Manor for the first time as a teenager, they said, and this is where we cook for Krishna, this is the kitchen, and this is where you're going to be chopping vegetables for Krishna. So that was my first job, chopping vegetables. But I noticed that in the kitchen someone had put pieces of paper on, there was a piece of paper on the fridge, piece of paper on the cupboard, piece of paper on the tin, piece of paper on the spice rack, it was stuck with sellotape. And I went over to see what these pieces of paper were, and it said, Krishna's fridge, Krishna's spices, Krishna's pantry, Krishna's vegetables, Krishna's sink, Krishna's pots. And so this cook deliberately kind of forced herself to see Krishna everywhere, at least seeing that everything belonged to Krishna. So to see Krishna doesn't mean you know that I'm saying that I'm recommending to you that you must have visions of Krishna playing the flute, because that will just get in the way of you having your porridge. But you see that Krishna is everywhere. Prabhupada said it is just like a mother. She sees her child's shoe, baby's shoe. When you see the baby shoe, then immediately you think of the baby. You already have some love for the baby, but when you see the shoe, that triggers that love. Rupa Goswami calls it an udipan. Udipan, it's a stimulus to love. So the shoe is not the baby, okay, but it's a stimulus to your remembering the baby. So when you don't see Krishna, but when you see something that belongs to Krishna, that should remind you. So how will Krishna come to you? Well, you remember his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, his kindness, Krishna's laughter, Krishna's clothing, Krishna's hair, or your devotee's kindness. These are the things that will come. Another time Prabhupada said, he said, you will be on Sankirtan distributing books. He said, then first thing is you will hear Krishna's footbells. He said, and then you will turn around, and then you will see Krishna face to face. He said, do not doubt it. So you will have, but don't sit and try to force it to happen. Can't force it to happen. But act in such a way that Krishna sees you and is very kindly reveals himself. We cannot force ourselves to see God, and we cannot, but we can act in such a way that God sees us. And in the Upanishad it said God is invisible, but he makes himself visible to those whom he chooses. So, by saying to God, to Krishna, I am yours, Avashi Arakshibe Krishna, I am yours from this moment on, which is what you do when you put on tilak. What to speak of when you get initiated and all of that sort of thing. You're saying to Krishna, now you can deal with me as you like, whether you appear in front of me playing the flute or whether you don't. I'm your servant. And as soon as Krishna sees that you're not even attached to his revelation, then he thinks you're serious. Then he thinks you're serious. But up until that point, we remind ourselves of Krishna's presence in our life by doing the opposite. A lot of what we do in sadhana is we do the opposite of what we would do if we were heavily conditioned. In other words, we don't want to get up in the morning, but in the ashram, we do get up in the morning. We don't really want to come and see Krishna in the morning. We want to watch a good movie in the morning. If I'm up, why not? But we come, we see Krishna. We don't really want to sing Krishna's name. We want other people to sing my name. It's my birthday today. Why doesn't anybody sing my name? Why doesn't anybody say happy birthday to me? Why is it always Krishna? On my birthday, why am I singing to Krishna? You see, this day is about you, but it's about Krishna. So I don't want to offer my food. I just want to see my food and I want to eat it. Why should I ring a bell and say prayers in between? No, because you're seeing this as being meant for Krishna. So it's Krishna's food, Krishna's house, even Krishna's body, Krishna's forehead. It belongs to him. Don't think, oh, I've made a great sacrifice in coming here and living in the ashram. They should be very pleased with me. They should give me, they should be very happy with me for what I've done. I've sacrificed my life to be here. Look, I've even put on this tear. No, the forehead, it already belongs to Krishna. He created it through your mum and dad. That we know. Krishna creates everything. He's Sarva Shakti. source of all Shaktis. So sometimes we have to be able to intelligently apply ourselves. Well, all the time we have to intelligently apply ourselves and see through our ears. You have to see Krishna through your ears. Just like a dog sees through its nose. Do you know how powerful a dog's nose is? 10,000 times the power of your nose. When I was a young householder, my kids were like 5 and 8. They had one of these books, and it looks like wallpaper, but there's a dolphin, the hidden dolphin. Okay, they came up to me, Daddy, we found a dolphin. I looked at it, couldn't see anything. I said, no, you have to use your eyes properly. So I'm using my eyes. I said, no, do it properly. You have to look a long way away, and then so I looked towards the back of the shop where we were, and I raised the book, and there was the dolphin, 3D. So to see the extra dimension in life, you have to use your eyes in a different way. You have to see things in a different way. And being in the ashram is something that trains you in that Krishna vision. Hare Krishna, Gauranga. All right, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. See you all on Friday. I'm leaving immediately to go to Inverness. So it's not good enough for me. I have to keep going north. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.